quite nerves. And I don't really get nervous that often about getting online. So this is it's clearly vulnerable content. So just waiting for Facebook to pop itself up here. We're gonna get started. All right, guys. Hello Facebook, hello Instagram. As I said, every 5 seconds, Bieber's going live. So I'm so grateful that you are here with me on my live stream. This is Lucia speaking, and I'm speaking from the heart today, babies. I'm actually sweating. I'm sweating because I'm talking about something that is true for me, that's real, that's vulnerable. Being a motherfucking fantasist. This has been something that I've been ashamed of my whole life. I've been really embarrassed about, and I have good reason. So this is a journal from age 12 through 14. And pretty much every page goes something like this. I'm giving him the silent treatment. I want you to know I'm finally over him. I don't know, but the silent treatment is making it worse. No more silent treatment. That was a bad idea. Change the subject, please. Then I say, I'm finally, new subject, no more blank this person's name. I will never talk about him again unless I go out with him. And continues on. Yes, boo-boos, I had the same crush, yes, from 2nd grade through college. Why? Because fantasy. So that's what we're talking about today. So I want to share with you a little story about when I first moved to Los Angeles, California. So I came here to visit my friend, and the first night out, I decided to go see a show at UCB. Went to get a drink by myself. I'm sitting at the bar. I feel this presence next to me. I don't know if you've ever felt that before. We were like, oh shit, I gotta talk to this person. Whether it's the endorphins or just the hoodie, there's something about him that you're like, I gotta talk to them. Turns out he felt the same way. We had a beautiful night. I went to see a show. Then afterwards we met up. Blah, blah, blah. We're making out by the side of his car. It's gorgeous. Okay, we have one gorgeous night together. And little fantasy brain tells me, this is really real. This is really real. So this was a visit to LA. I leave LA and I decide I need to move to LA. So I do the hard, heavy lifting of changing my whole life. I moved to Los Angeles. Meanwhile, I believe I have a soulmate, and his name is the guy I met at La Poubelle that one strange evening. I come to LA. I'm like, hey, I live here. And like a normal person, he is very apparently trying to stay away from me because that's fucking crazy. And if you ever have a crush on somebody and you move to their city, just like make it very, 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 very clear that it's not because you think they're your soulmate. And if you do, just chip chop. So I spent a good portion of a year just like hoping and wanting and trying to see him, and he had a girlfriend. Finally, we go out on one date about a year later. I get too stoned. I get so stoned that I like have to pretend to be a person to like walk. Like I'm like, you're an actress, just pretend to be a human. And I walk like robot walk out the bar. And he's like, I'm so sorry, but I cannot let you drive home. Come over. So I come over to his apartment. I'm just curled up in a ball thinking like, oh shit, if I say anything, he'll know how crazy I am because I have constructed a whole fantasy about us. And like, I know that like he's just going to see it in my eyes. Like you can see that shit. So I'm basically hiding from him in his own apartment. I start looking around the room as I start to sober up, and I'm like, there's girl things everywhere. It turns out this man has a girlfriend. Not to mention this man is like 20 years older than me. And like from then forth, every time I see him, he's like looking too much at a telephone pole. Like good sign of crazy in the wild is like they're really taking in the information on telephone poles. So yeah, basically that was a huge smack in the face to be like, you have been living inside a dream. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I was lucky enough to have found a beautiful therapist, my godsent, Mother Mary Massaro. If you live in New Jersey or you have a Skype connection, go find her. She's an amazing therapist. And she said to me during this time, you're misusing your imagination. So I want you to hear that, friends. This is a misuse of imagination. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's actually a fucking superpower being misused. So I was able to channel that energy, that psychotic soulmate searching for symbols everywhere. And when you're searching everywhere, you find what you're looking for and not always in the best way. Your mind can project all sorts of shit. So I created a pilot called Ella. You can check it out if you feel inspired at luciabrita.com. It's called Ella in Hollywood, and it's basically the psychology of that moment in time and seeing everything as a sign. So I want to talk about fantasy, and at the root of it, of all of our greatest assets in life, basically come from survival mechanisms that we developed to survive our families of origin. So just like a kid at school might be dreaming about summer camp to get through algebra, or right now an ER doctor might be dreaming about a spa vacation after this whole horrendous experience passes. We utilize fantasy as a means of escapism. So my home, my parents did their best, but they were not meant to be, and it was incredibly emotionally volatile. So my brother was very much a realist on the ground, trying to like make things better, and I would just go doop out into fantasy world. So this was my survival mechanism that I learned to escape, to find peace, to find joy and play and excitement and love in a place that was actually very challenging emotionally to inhabit. So it's a habit pattern of mine that I developed. We all have our own, and I think what's gorgeous and challenging about this quarantine is that all our habits of mind are coming right to the forefront. So it doesn't matter if it was something you had when you were 13 and it sort of passed away. If it's there, it's shown up, right? I think everyone can relate with that. So the beautiful thing about our survival mechanisms is that we're able to take the skills and leave the rest behind. So what skills, those of us who have this fantasy mind, this ability to create fantasies, can we utilize that, as Mary Massaro would say, not misuse that imagination, but use it for good. Use it well. Use it smartly. So our consciousness, our minds, they are the greatest forefront. They're the greatest asset. They're the greatest commodity. That's why these distraction machines, the greatest minds of our generation, are being used to steal our brains. Why? Because our consciousness, our focus of attention is that powerful, is that important, is that pivotal. This is the forefront. This is like, it's not the Industrial Revolution anymore. It's the mental, right? So our consciousness, taking back our consciousness, is the most important thing, I would argue. And I would say our internal work is the most important work we could possibly be doing. The quality of our life is absolutely 100% the quality of our mind. You could be in a jail cell with eyes that see beauty. You can be in the White House with eyes that see shit, right? We see this, we know this. Even physical sensation, the deepest physical pain. I'm someone who probably a lot of you out there have gone through this. I've gone through immense physical pain, like being on the edge of death from illness. That is when you tap into that realization that that your psychology, your mind is the only thing that actually matters. The physical pain can be translated by the brain and is translated by the brain. You see those people who get a cut and they're out for a week, right? And then those others who are managing severe illness or pain, and they are able to see with clear eyes and feel good and feel positive experiences. That is the mind. So Eleanor Roosevelt did say, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But now let's look at that statement. The beauty of their dreams, not believe in their dreams. Okay, so there's a distinction, right? And this is where we go to fantasy for good and fantasy for getting locked up. Okay, so believing in the beauty of your dreams is, I want to feel the way that I feel when I dream upon this. So I'm having a fantasy right now of this beach vacation, and then maybe I'll open the windows and I'll put on some Katy Perry, and there I am in the beauty of that dream. I'm noting this is the feeling I want to feel, and I'm going towards it, and I'm creating it right now. And I'm okay with the fact that I'm not on a beach. Believing in your dream is, oh no, I need to spend all my money because I just got a sign for my dream, and I need to go find this person on the internet that I'm now in love with, and I need to go book a flight, and that's believing in your dream. That's where we go to fucking jail. Yeah. Right? That's the difference between fantasy for good and fantasy for driving everyone and yourself, mostly driving yourself crazy. So, first of all, owning that your dream is beautiful, okay? What we can't see and we can't connect to what we don't recognize. So there's a specificity to every dream you have. You're not crazy for wanting what you want. It's not like everyone wants what you want and you're just, who are you to ask for it? There is a specificity and a beauty to exactly what you're craving and what you're desiring and what you're wanting, because you are able to recognize it, see it, feel it, and say, I'm here and it's there and I want it. And that tension is real. So just give yourself permission to feel like that wanting is okay and that wanting is yours, and that dream that you have, may it never manifest, is still yours, and it's deeply telling of what you care about, who you are, and the life that you're creating on this planet. So recognize it, own it, love it. Like, even the me that can love, yeah, I think it's beautiful that I was able to fall in love with a complete stranger, or project all these beautiful qualities onto a person I never met. That just means that I have those qualities, that I seek those qualities, and that I can create that life. Okay? So what happens with capitalism is advertising companies, every great mind who's working to sell us shit, goes and looks at what do we want, how do we make it something you can buy and have. So we have been trained to think, if I want it, I have to be able to buy it. 7 Rings Ariana Grande track, okay? Listen to Ariana Grande and you get this whole thing, right? It's like, if I crave it, I must own it. And that's where we get into shitstorm. That's where we get into pain and suffering, and crazy town. So actually just leaning into the fact that what you want is yours. It's already yours, and you can find these qualities. So maybe you're crushing on a celebrity that you'll never meet, or maybe you're, daydreaming about having the money that Elon Musk has to fly planes, or whatever the fuck Elon does, fly spacecrafts. What's really under it? That's what advertisers do. They look, what's really under it? Is it a core desire to feel belonging? Is it a core desire to feel powerful? And then how can you give yourself that? So rather than thinking like, I'm going to go buy that thing that they told me is going to get me that feeling, how do we give ourselves that in the smallest way, this tiniest way possible? If I want to feel powerful as Elon Musk, maybe it is I just, go on a live stream and share my voice with the world. Like, that feels fucking powerful, okay? So that's how we hijack the system that has brainwashed us into thinking that we need to buy our desires. So yeah, addiction. A lot of fantasy is rooted in this feeling of craving, desiring, wanting, and not being able to have, right? Restriction is the BFF frenemy of addiction. As soon as we can have, that pull, that tie, that like fucking rope around your neck is loosened. And we can be in freedom. And we can choose. So if you are feeling like, fuck, I am so, going down this addictive pattern with this person or with this substance, how do you give yourself the feeling, the quality, the thing that's underneath it, and have no shame about wanting it and no shame about desiring it? Actually lean into the beauty of your dream. Your dream is beautiful, okay? As Talia Brava said in the last Church of Brava, which I was oh, well, she actually said something smart. Nothing is but feeling makes it so. So just like Shakespeare said, nothing is but thinking makes it so. Nothing is truly but feeling makes it so. It's not bad, it's not negative, it's not shameful, unless we make it feel that way for ourselves. So go and have a meditation and telepathize with that lover that you're dreaming of that might be, a movie character. There's nothing wrong. It's beautiful to feel those feelings. And then you're going to find that once you give yourself permission, you're not going to feel so compelled in a way that doesn't feel in control, that feels addictive. And we know that distinction. So I want to actually talk about the distinction. Get to that. So in Katy Perry's horrendous new track, Daisies, Don't Listen. I'm misquoting her. Everything is a dream until it happens, right? So knowing that there's dreaming is beautiful, dreaming is powerful, dreaming is the beginning, it's the seed of creation. We need to be free to be in that dream. What we need too is what the yogis call viveka, discernment, okay? To be able to discern reality from dreamland. So I remember being in a yoga class and I was in Savasana and I was daydreaming, as I used to do it. In my early 20s, I was dreaming about a boy, I was just dreaming, fantasizing, and I knew in my mind, I'm like, this is going to hurt. I'm going to wake up from this fucking daydream. He's not going to be here. I'm going to be sad. Because that was my pattern. And I went up to the yoga teacher afterwards and I was like, what do you do about, because I knew it was powerful and amazing that I could like have these fantasies. I said, what do you do about that? And she's like, just know that it's a daydream. Just know that it's a daydream. That's viveka. So the real and the unreal, being able to distinguish, and then be able to sit with, yeah, I could make this happen right now. Here is real. This is real. This is real. Can I be present with this person who's here? This person who's here. Okay, that is cultivating viveka. So the emotional temperature between what we want and where we are. Our lives can be as gorgeous, can be as big, can be as huge, as our ability to sit in between those two places. If it is too painful for us to dream because we want it so much, because we're so attached to a certain outcome that we can't even go there, we're going to have to live a really small life. How do we broaden our ability to sit in that emotional temperature? So at the core of everything I share with you, there is a belief that I have that all people on a core level want to be fully realized, want to live their fullest potential on this earth. Now, that distinction being made, many of us, all of us on a certain degree, to live in this world, choose safety over growth. So if you do anything to make money, yes, that isn't like your absolute passion in the world. Yes, of course, here I am, right? We all make these compromises, small compromises, in order to use the tools of this matrix as our tools of liberation. So ultimately we are, like, oh, I did that, but I think that's like Seinfeld or Fuck Off. This is Max and Al are joining. So we need to use the tools, right? We need to make money to like be able to do our creative work. Most of us do. And yet, can we still be leaning more towards that area of growth, testing our ability to sit in the discomfort of what we want versus the reality that we have and that we're living, and building that emotional temperature to be able to sit in the distinction between our dream and reality so that we can dream without pain, that we can dream and we can create, and we can also be present with viveka, with distinction, to know this is real, that is a dream. And just because that dream isn't here doesn't mean that I have to disvalue or not love and appreciate this. Both can happen. Okay, cuties. So now we come over to the work I do with Talia Brava. So as we know, comedy, you take something, you make it extreme, and now it's funny, hopefully. So my story has been, and Max, you know this if it's you for Max and Al, because we talk about this through the character of Talia Brava, unrequited love. Like my Lucia story, one of the main stories of my fantasy life has been this fantasy of dreaming on lovers that could never possibly become manifest because they're literally like don't exist in my sphere. They're not here. They've got a girlfriend. They're out. They're gone. They're not here. Okay? And yet I'm like fixated. So what I did to work with that was I created a character who is the extreme of this, and I play it out comedically. And I hope that if you are someone who experiences this same storyline of fantasy, it's a way for you to play it out. So the way that we build that emotional temperature, the way that we build and develop the ability to work with our fantasy well rather than work against us with our fantasy is one way is play. So Talia Brava has taken the story of unrequited love and never being satisfied to an extreme that is insane. She has declared herself cosmosexual. She needs every man in the multiverse to fall in love with her or else she'll never be fulfilled. As my dear friend Unicron, who runs a cult, says, you need to, in order to have like a successful religious movement, a spiritual movement, or a cult, you need to have a want, a desire, a goal, a group goal that will never be completed. So hers, I love that she's taking back the word cult. She plays with the whole idea of mind control to actually like give you control over your brain. And her cult is seeking to create joy on earth. That's something that will never end. Talia Brava, satirical cult leader, is just seeking to get herself off, which is never going to happen because she's unfucking requited. So this is one way that I have been able to lean in, channel all that fucking cray, use it, as Mary Massaro said, use my creativity for good and not ill. So yeah, that's the way that we raise our emotional temperature, to be able to sit in the distinction between, that's one way, between what we have and the dreams that we have, to not deny ourselves those dreams, to not shame ourselves for being dreamers, to actually utilize it, is for play and for creativity. So what does that mean to you? Where can you be leaning into something that you might have previously disowned in yourself and playing with it? And then I leave you with, anyone, just as all our dreams are ours and they're specific, and all our fantasies are ours and they're specific, and there's something in them that reveals something in us that is beautiful and that is to be, really let that flourish. Internet friends are real friends. Movie characters are real friends. And just like real friends, real relationships in our lives, sometimes there isn't actually pretty much all the time, there isn't an actual even back and forth, right? So it's a relationship with someone who doesn't reciprocate. Is that okay with you? Then that's beautiful. We can be in love with Jerry Maguire, okay? We can be in love with Selena Gomez. we can give that love, feel that love, and be in a true dynamic with a figment of our imagination, and let that only show to you the power of your imagination, the beauty of your dreams. Well, friends, this has been one of the most intimate shares I could possibly imagine, because yes, she is. I'm real. I'm a fantasist. It's true. Get over it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the talk. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to put this on Instagram TV. I love you guys. I'm going to wait till 2020 to end this live stream on the Facebook account. So we have 2, 1, magic number, everything's a sign, just as a true fantasist would tell you. Okay. Bye, guys. So much love. Thanks for joining.